Welcome back to Getting Real with Réal Andrews and Alex Urbina. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Don't forget to give us a call if you got a question. We love to hear from you. We got to actually do a draw for December for the call-ins that we got. We got to remember to do that. 60, because you get your call answered on the air, you get a chance to win a free FaceTime, or if you're here in the Valley, get to sit down with me and Alex, help you with your goals. You can call in at 661-298-5487, or that's 661-298-KHTS. Don't forget to download your free AM 1220 KHTS app. We're talking about giving you tools and things to help you to make 2016 the best year. The first part of the show, we were talking, between your ears. As a trainer, I say you only have one competitor, one person in the way of you achieving your goals, and look in the mirror, and it's that thing right there between your two ears. So I don't want to run away from this so quick, because in my world, even though I'm a trainer and I'm big on helping you, do physical things, and we're going to talk about some tricks to help you to get success with that. When I sit down with a client, Alex, I spend a lot of time defining their purpose and the why. So I want to talk about one thing we talked about in the session. You talked about the do and the have, and you said, Réal, probably what you associated your worth with is what you're doing, what you have. And I'm sure that's a lot of us out there. That's why you sit down and you set up new goals because you look at what I've done in 2015, how I got out of shape in 2015. So you're dealing with the do and the have rather than being. You want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm not going to go too deep into it. I've done several series of podcasts on the be, do, have principle. It's a principle of mastery. If you want to master yourself, you really got to learn this principle. You can Google it. You can look up some of the podcasts I've done. But it really boils down to as human beings, when we're born, what makes us powerful is our beingness. And as we start to grow up and start to, achieve, accomplish goals, at school, get good grades, get kudos for that, we start focusing more on what am I doing and what am I having? And we become a society where we need to have more. We need to have better. We need to have different. And so we become more fixated on doing more, better, different to have more, better, different. And what we're all searching for at the end of having all of those accomplishments and those goals and those goodies and the cars and the money and all that stuff,
six-pack,
all of that, the nice health, fitness and all that kind of stuff. We're at the end of having all that and doing all that. We're having some kind of an experience. And that experience is, I feel happy, I feel worthy, I feel appreciated, I feel acknowledged. It's an experience that you're searching for. But what happens in the doing and the having, that experience you're having is temporary. It's like getting a brand new car, right? You get a new car and you're excited and you feel like you're on top of the world. You got your arm, over the steering wheel and you're acting cool and driving all, but that feeling goes away. That experience goes away.
When your kids get in the car.
Or they drop some French fries in the back and it doesn't smell like that new car anymore. All of a sudden that you realize that experience is fleeting. It starts to fade away. So what do you have to do now?
You do it again.
You got to go buy yourself a new car. You got to do more, better, different to have those things. So you got to keep this vicious cycle. You become what's called a human doing. You're not a human being anymore. And we forgot that what's powerful about us is the essence of that we have the ability to be whoever we want. It's a process of choosing to being enough, choosing to being worthy, being fulfilled, being loved, being loving, caring, compassionate, vulnerable. I can go on and on about all the different ways of being. That is the powerful tool in our belt that we don't know anything about because we haven't been practicing the beingness. We've been practicing for the last 10, 15, 30, 40 years is doing more, better, different, having those kinds of experiences that seems to be fleeting away as soon as we get them. And so we're kind of like a mouse or a hamster on the hamster wheel going round and round and round, wondering why we don't feel fulfilled anymore. And I'm afraid that, when it comes to New Year's, it's all about the doing and the having. And that's why we create these new goals and we shoot out of the gates expecting to do, to have, to be, and that's not the formula that really is masterful in your life. If you can figure out how to be, do, have, you're in the right track, and you're actually creating the kinds of experiences that you actually have control over, rather than having the experience be tied or associated to whatever it is that you accomplished. Because once that fades away, you now have to get on the hamster wheel and go do more, better, or different to keep creating the havingness. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Totally, because I'm worried. Now, if some of you
probably heard it about a couple dozen times.
Please reach out to Alex at alexrubina.com. He'd be happy to help you with that. We're going to switch gears a little bit. I'll just end you for layman terms. For some of you who are going, what is he talking about? Basically, let me give you a couple pointers that I do real simple. And for me, when I wake up in the morning, I open my eyes, I look around, and I got another day on this earth. That's great. That's a great place to be. Focus on that.
So in that moment, you're being grateful.
Being grateful. Look at your family. Hey, focus on what you do have, what you got to do. Just focus on the little things. Now, as a trainer, because everybody right now, everybody and their mother is just jumping into a gym. They're getting in a gym, a new this, a new that, ordering a treadmill online, ordering the newest piece of machinery online. By the way, don't do that. Those things show up in every garage sale across America. Nobody ever uses those. Just trying to help you out.
You might use them like 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times. You put your dog on it, make a funny YouTube video, something, but you don't use it to work out. So I'm going to start with just letting you know, from a coach's point of view, whatever you choose to do this year, you can absolutely do it. You're that good. Just choose to do it. You're that powerful. But before I give some specific tips from a trainer's point of view to help people, you and me have been working together for maybe 4 or 5 years, and it was something you never really did.
5 months.
5 months, sorry, not 4 or 5 years. What are some things that you share? I want to hear from a client's point of view that have made a difference for you, why you've stuck with it for 5 months.
For me, in my journey of consciousness, in the wheel of balance, there's probably 5 or 6 spokes. I got really good at focusing on all 6 spokes, but the 7th spoke was my physical well-being, my physical health, and I've been ignoring that, and I haven't been really willing to put the effort into it. And so what really woke me up this year, and it's been kind of an ongoing process probably in the last year and a half, is that the people that love me the most have been authentically and courageously and honestly sharing their concern for me that I'm not going to be around very long. And it's been from close personal friends to my wife to my kids, and it really shook me up to the core. I just couldn't ignore it anymore. And right now, just thinking about it, my eyes want to water up, because I do want to be here for my kids. I do want to help. My biggest commitment is to help my kids win in life. And that translates over into helping them win as parents with my grandkids. It would kill me to sit around as a grandfather and watch my own kids suffer as adult parents and not being able to be there to support them and continue to help them win in their life for as long as I can be breathing and be alive on this earth. So that's my why. That's the biggest why for me, is to continue to make a difference for my kids and my grandkids, but more importantly, to continue to make a difference in the world and help other people. My journey's not over yet, and I can't get very far if my vehicle is broken and it's struggling. And so that was the biggest thing for me, was really connecting to the why to a whole nother level. More importantly, and I want to really stress this, what really clicked for me was taking my understanding of commitment, the word commitment, and that distinction to a whole nother level. I got clear that the reason why I wasn't in the last 10 or 15 years winning in that game, because I wasn't committed. I wasn't sold out. There's a whole nother level. When you talk about commitment, there's a distinction when you talk about commitment. Commitment means you you talk about George Washington, when he was leading his troops into battle, when they crossed over that bridge, he turned behind them and he burned the bridge behind them.
Yeah, I talked about that today.
That's commitment.
That's called all in.
That's all in or death.
Yeah.
And so, we, as human beings, we don't play all in. We don't play committed like our life depends on it, like our family's life depends on it. We don't play all in. We play when we feel like it. We're run by our feelings. I don't feel like it. Leaders don't run by their feelings. feelings. Leaders are inspired by their commitment, by their vision. There's a lot of times I don't feel like going to a lot of things I do, but because I gave my word's important to me, so I go because of my word. I go because, it's part of my vision, or it's in alignment with what my purpose is on earth. I don't go by my feelings. And that's probably a 90%. I'm not perfect, but it's probably 90%. The 10% was I was allowing my feelings to run me when it came to my commitment to my personal health. And for whatever reason, and I believe there are no accidents, the timing was right. I was supposed to run into you, and it was perfect timing that we got put in front of each other, thanks to Jerry Sarati Goldman, who introduced us. And it felt, almost... I found almost like a divine intervention that we partnered up with each other, because I can support you and you can support me. And it's something that's magical about having a coach. And me being a coach, I know what it's like to want people to be coachable. When we talk about being coachable, it's like you got to sell out to me. I got to be the only voice in your head. If I tell you to go hug a tree for an hour, you're there hugging it for an hour and a half, saying, do you want me to keep hugging it? And so that's what being committed to being coached looks like. And so when I got in front of you and you were telling me to do X, Y, and Z in the gym, it was that little voice that was trying to come up with all kinds of excuses. But I knew that in order to win, I had to be coachable. And so I really kind of sold out in the gym. So just so you know, and I probably said this to you a couple dozen times, when it comes to the gym, when I cross over that little doorway there, I'm yours, man. It's like whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to trust you more than I trust myself in that moment, because based on results, trusting myself hasn't gotten me to the results that I wanted. So I just, when I step into the gym, I'm like putty in your hands. You tell me to do it, and I'm not going to question it. I'm going to do it all the way to the point where I'm committed to, passing out if that's what it takes. And I think I've done that almost one time.
Will you let me videotape you when you throw up?
It was funny. Yeah, that you can do.
Okay.
But I think I got to a point where one time I started hyperventilating.
Yeah.
It was the first time I've ever had that experience.
I remember that.
And I was glad that you were there walking me through it. You were like, okay, you were calm. You're like, hey, just breathe, take deep breaths. And I was wheezing, and it was a little scary for a moment, but that was my level of commitment this time. I think that's why I'm winning and right now in this current stage of my life when it comes to my health, is because I'm committed to a whole nother level.
And those things, what you just said, if people could get that committed, that all-in attitude, it's almost like, I know from a previous gym owner's point of view, and you got to kind of do that as a business, come check us out, get a free week, come do this, get 2 weeks free, a free month, whatever. Really what they should be saying is, you're lucky to come into our gym, make a decision, and jump all in. You shouldn't need a week, because that week gives you let me check it out. Let me just put my foot in there and see if I like. No, you need to it's not about the gym. You need to make a decision to go in, and that becomes being bold. And it made me think about one of the things that I want to talk about.
If I had, sorry to interrupt you, if I had a gym, you know what I would do? I would make it free. I'd take your card, but I'd make it free, and every time you didn't show up, I would charge you double.
See? That's even better.
No, seriously, that would have your commitment rise. And I don't know what it is about free. When you do free, they're not at stake. But if you offer it free if you don't show up, we're going to charge you double. That's a whole nother ball game. Well, apparently, that's inner circle stuff right there. Yeah. You know nothing about that.
Yeah, no, I do. And you know what? There's actually a sushi restaurant. Maybe you guys know, but apparently there's a sushi restaurant. I just heard this the other night. You can you get to pay one price. You can eat as much as you want. But if you order something and you don't finish it, like if you order like 3 rolls and you only eat 2 rolls, they'll charge you double for the roll you eat.
Wow.
Yeah, that's part of the deal.
I don't do all you can eat anymore. No, it's not part of my process anymore. But
all right, so let's talk about a couple of things specifically in the gym. First thing is just make a decision. Just make a decision. That's important. Show up. Don't overwhelm yourself. I
would even say don't even make a decision. I would say just show up.
Just show up.
Because if you're waiting to make the decision, you could be waiting for 10 years. Don't make a decision.
Just show up.
Just show up.
But they got to decide that they want to change.
Tomorrow morning at 4:30, show up at Balacor on the corner of Soledad and
4 a.m.
4 a.m.
Didn't
I just say that?
You said 4:30.
Oh, okay, 4 a.m.
Yeah.
In the morning when it's cold and rainy, just show up at the front door right there waiting with your little blanket and just say, Coach, I'm here.
And I
heard you on the radio.
Yeah, and there'll be 20 other champions just waiting to get it on with you, and it's awesome. And I'll tell you, you know what? just show up. But I love morning classes. There's something about the morning class. You want to. I like what you said, in terms of like some people show up and they know they've got X amount of pounds to lose, but just take it one day at a time.
It's not even about the pounds.
But for some people it is. I'm just trying to help them out.
I know, but for me, and that's what was sabotaging me, because I kept making it about the pounds. It wasn't, and it wasn't. I remember I told you that it's like the journey to persevere was inside of jumping in. It was actually that journey started once I showed up.
Well, here's a lesson.
I couldn't see it from the outside, and I had to actually dive in first, and then all of a sudden, this whole new world started unfolding for me. And then it didn't matter about the weight; it didn't matter about the pounds.
Now, with that said, because this is one of my biggest pet peeves, and most trainers, by the way. So this learn from Alex right here. So we've been training together for 5 months, give or take. How many times have you jumped on the scale with me?
Probably twice.
Twice. Not twice a day, not twice a week.
I actually don't even
twice in 5 months, because it don't matter.
I actually don't even jump on anymore. What's cool though is, as I'm not jumping on the scale to even look at the number anymore, I'm dropping pant sizes, which is really cool. Yeah.
Right. And I used to, Alex, a funny side story. It's not funny, but it is funny. I had a client back in Connecticut. She had a big, like 6,000 square foot house, and every day she'd come. She trained 5 days a week with me. Every day she'd go into the gym. I'm not exaggerating. She had like 7 or 8 scales in her house, starting in her bathroom, in her bedroom, at the top of the stairs, at the bottom of the stairs, in the kitchen. And she'd come to me and she'd say she was get so stuck on the lowest number that one of those scales would give her. And I'd be like, "You're crazy, girl. I'm going to come to your house and throw those things out. How many to blow them? We're going to blow them up." She couldn't let it go. Like, I mean, how crazy, but people get like that. They get stuck with that. And isn't that a doing? They're doing rather than just being. You can tell when you feel great. I like what you said. Just focus on feeling great. Just focus on the pants is getting bigger on you. You don't need a scale to tell you whether you're getting in better shape.
I start thinking about another interpersonal dysfunction that a lot of us have that sabotages our results, is that we're impatient.
Yeah.
And, really working on the being patient, the beingness of really being patient and allowing someone's course to unfold the way it's supposed to unfold. If you want to lose 100 pounds, be prepared to go 2 or 3 years before losing that. If you're able to get it in a year, great. But some bodies don't break down fat as fast as others. I know that men and women's bodies are different, and I know it's kind of like it's a pet peeve that women have, that it's like, you can stop drinking sodas for a month and drop 10 pounds, and that doesn't work for me. That
day.
Probably. Mm-hmm. But it's really about deciding that you're just going to show up and you're going to give yourself permission to be patient in the process. And it really is a one day at a time process, a one step at a time. It's one workout at a time, day by day, week by week, month by month, and a little bit at a time, you're going to start creating those kinds of results. But I think most of us, we're impatient. We want it now, and especially in today's world, we want it now. If it's not showing up now, we just don't want to put in the work for it.
And all things good, hard work always prospers. Now, here's something, a big, big, big misconception. And, hopefully all my classmates are listening, and hopefully there's other people out there in the gym world, because I know there's a lot of trainers out there will be really happy if some of their clients hear what I'm about to say to you. Hours and hours of cardio is not the answer. Just because you get a good sweat on, because you're in a big hot room or something, is not the answer. Lifting heavy, building lean muscle, and burning fat. Now, in my classes, you know what? I give them the cardio, I give them this, I give them a little bit of that, because I know that's what they want. If I don't give them that, they're not going to come no matter what I say. But if you're in part of my classes, you'll notice how much I spend on weightlifting, strength training, mixing it up, muscle confusion. I spend a lot of time trying to get people to buy into lifting heavy with great form, of course, and great coaching. And if you look at most of the women, actually all of the women that I train personally, They look jacked. And most of them, when I came to me, they were using what I call, no offense, I love you, you're great, but it's just kind of a joke I have. They got that Jane Fonda mentality. Let's put our little knee-high things on and take a little 2-pound weight and jump up and down and bounce around for 2 hours. It don't work.
Get physical. Physical. Oh, okay. We're gonna have to do our dance move for the next video that Menji's gonna make.
How many of you think about this? Okay, let's. If you don't believe me, think about this, because I know that you're out there. How many of you have been going to the same gym for several years? You walk in the front door and you see that same person, probably wearing the same outfit, on that treadmill, doing the same thing every single day, and they ain't lost any weight. But they're going to sit there and tell you, man, I wish I could look like that person over there. He looks so great. What, do you mean that guy over there lifting weights in the weight room? Not sitting here on the treadmill for 2 or 3 hours? Maybe you want to look like every other industry. Look around at the people that you're aspiring to be and try to see what they're doing. Here's a little personal inside note I'm getting ready to share with my class. Because our class at Ballacor is just blowing up, there's like 20 plus people in the morning, I haven't been able to actually work out. And you know I like to get in there and do the workout with them. But I got a bunch of new people I got to take care of. So I actually haven't worked out.
Did you give up your bike?
Yeah. I haven't worked out at all yet, and I'm down 8 pounds.
Interesting.
I've done weight. I go in the morning. No, let me back up a little. I go in the morning. I've been doing my heavy weight training. I want to rephrase that. I haven't done any cardio training. I've just done.
What was amazing? My last workout with you, you started off, putting me doing the weight training, and it was funny because right around, I have like 15 minutes left. I'm thinking to myself, hey, this is an easy workout. I'm like, we're not doing no cardio, and then you're like, all right, 10 minutes. We're gonna do the hardest cardio you've ever had, and that last 10 minutes, man, I was. You can literally do 10-minute cardio, and it feels like you've done 2 hours of cardio. Like your heart could be like ready to beat out of your chest, and you're gasping for air. And that's what I love about what you do, is that you're utilizing all the different tools to burn fat, rather than the one mythical tool that is all about cardio.
Awesome. Well, listen, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back. You're listening to Getting Real with Réal Andrews and Alex Urbina on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. All right, welcome back to Getting Real with Réal Andrews and Alex Urbina right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. You can give us a call at any time at 661-298-5487. That's 298-KHTS. Don't forget to download your free AM 1220 KHTS app. Take us with you anywhere. We've been talking about things to help you win in 2016. So as we wrap this up, Alex, I know there's so many things. 3 things that you, from your training, that people can do to set themselves up to win in 2016.
I think the first thing would be to make a huge commitment, something big, something outrageous, something that you never dreamed possible. Make it really big. And then number 2 is to declare that commitment out loud to other people, to your inner circle, to your mom, your dad, and more importantly, make that commitment declared to a coach or a mentor, somebody that's going to hold you accountable. That's not, your friend or someone that's going to sell you out or just ignore it or not call you on it, but somebody that's really committed to have you win. And then I want you to put something at stake. Like if I don't accomplish X, or if I don't get to the gym 3 times a week, or whatever it is that you're committed to, I'm willing to put something at stake. And that's what's at stake is, I don't know, my Louis Vuitton purse, or my stiletto, my $500 stiletto shoes, or my Mercedes Benz. You can drive for a week, or something big, something that really has you kind of go, there's no way I'm not doing that. I'm going to shave my hair off, or I'm off my head, or something big that really kind of lights the fire under your seat and really has you go beyond your feelings and show up so that you can keep your word to yourself.
I love that. And I'll tell you, it's funny. I've used it many times. You mentioned the shoes. I'll be teaching a boot camp class, and I'll just say, and they're all kind of dragging, and I'll say, the first one to get all the way down there is going to get three free, one of those, what are those, Jimmy Choo shoes. And they just start firing up and firing up. So those shoes things really work. From my point of view, it's kind of weird. It's kind of a lot of things the same, just a different language. Get a journal. Journal is a big point, Write down your dream board in that, and I believe in putting images not just in your journal, but on your computer screen, on your windshield, on your mirror, your bathroom, something that you see first thing when you open up. I, like Alex just mentioned, one of the things I do, once I get somebody to get a journal, to do their dream board, to go outrageous, set a goal, and then, especially as a parent, what I've always done, I tell people, if you've got kids or a wife, I love if you've got kids, it really brings it home. Take each kid in your family individually into the room, sit them down, get on their level, and say, hey, listen, champ, I just want you to know, Daddy's committed to do this, X, and I promise you, I'm not going to let you down. And when it gets going, gets tough, and it will, I find that those things really work. So
that's an at stakeness. Mm-hmm. That's your word at stake. Mm-hmm. How do you sit your kid down and say, I'm not going to let you down? That's your word's at stake, especially to somebody that you would take a bullet for. You'd give up your life for your kids. So that's something that's really big at stake there, and maybe that's what it takes for you to keep your word to yourself. Because when you keep sabotaging yourself, that's really what you're doing. Is you're breaking your word. You've
already let yourself up. And here's the flip side, which I'm sure you've seen with your parenting, your conscious parenting and stuff. When you make yourself accountable to your kids, more than anything, because kids, they don't filter anything. All of a sudden you become home and they'll be like, hey, Daddy, how's your training going? Hey, Daddy, you can't eat that. Remember, you got that thing going on, and they start becoming part of it.
Oh, your kids, they'll hold you accountable. They're the best coaches, and they won't sell you out.
Speaking of kids and holding each other accountable and great things, you've got some awesome opportunities for parents. I'm going to be part of it, to go to the next level in their relationships. You got another awesome thing for kids to go to the next level. Which, can I put my kids back in the next one?
Absolutely.
Okay, tell us a little bit what you got going on.
The next training I got dialed in is a training called the Conscious Parent Workshop, and it's a 2-day training, very intense, very powerful. It's designed to really help you access more of your being and really crack the context in who we are as human beings, and really get into that personal power rather than more information. You're not going to find a lot of tips in my training. It's not going to be the 10 magical, secret, tips to get you to be a successful parent. It's going to be real context work. It's the groundwork. It's really cracking your heart open and having some of that, getting you connected back to your spirit and your heart, where all the wisdom is. Because, I'm a firm believer that as a parent, you have all the answers already within you. It's a matter of aligning yourself up to access that part of you so that you can get the clarity and the personal power and really get dialed in. And so that's what my training does. And it's very unique. It's not one of a kind, but the world doesn't know about it yet. A lot of the world is afraid to do this work, but it's a real deal. It's where the champions get real work done. We're not just talking about stuff. We're really getting work done.
And so they can find that at alexurbina.com. You guys can also, on the KHTS website, there's banners that you can click for that. I got a banner coming up. Say if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Click on that and it'll take you to me, and I'll help you with your goals and weight loss, gaining lean muscle, whatever that is you're looking for. Me and Alex, very excited. We test drove it earlier this year. The results were amazing. And be looking in March.
Don't say the inner circle.
We're going to have our first team outing away. It's going to be cool, little inner circle thing.
Weekend. Ropes course.
Weekend, ropes.
Beast
craziness.
mode.
Yeah, beast, mud.
All that stuff.
All crazy stuff, yeah.
All right.
Justin maybe will be there? You think we'll get Justin there?
Justin, he can't hang with the big dogs.
I don't know.
He's a Chihuahua.
He's a Chihuahua.
He'll be barking and nipping at your ankles.
He's a cool Chihuahua.
Well, cool.
He's a Chihuahua that I'd hang out with.
Yeah, I would hang out with him too, but I don't know if I'd go to battle with him.
Yes, because he could get he could get that.
He'd probably get us into a lot of fights because he'd be chirping away and.
Oh, it'd all be good. Hey, listen, we really enjoy spending time with you every week at 1 p.m. Wednesdays. We're getting real with Réal Andrews and Alex Urbina on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Make 2016 the best year ever. Let's get it done.